This is a time of significance. It's a time of reflection. It's a time to remember. But also it's a time to seek, where do we go from here? Manson, when he was born, was imprinted with this image of God that had been, destroyed in a sense by his actions, but it's still there. Greater love has no one than this, that he laid down his life for his friends. So because of that, yeah, I'll step up. I'll step before people to do a service, even for a mass murderer like Charlie Manson. I'll just remind you a little bit of his life. It was at the General Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio, on Sunday, November 11th, 1934, that Charles Maddox entered into this world. In what was an unhealthy environment at that time, he was born to a 16-year-old girl who was not quite yet prepared for motherhood. Some of God's word and some other words that I believe can be of benefit.
I appreciated the pastor. The pastor was very funeral-like. I mean, it all stayed pretty. It didn't get too personal, which, how it couldn't really.
The challenging part for Charlie is that this unhealthy environment that he was a part of for his early years followed him for the rest of his life, and it was a challenge. There are choices that we make, and I am reminded that every choice we make, there's a positive result or there's a negative consequence. There were also choices that he made as well, and it created an attitude and actions that would impact himself and, of course, influence many others.
He was talking about all the mistakes Manson made. Manson, the reason why Manson went down that road, we just wasn't the time or the place for that.
Even in death, for Charlie, rest and peace were not to be found until today.
So I spontaneously in my mind was picturing, wow, this played right into the Charlie mythos, because this rock and roll, heavy metal, wrestling Billy Graham, what am I doing here, is about to get up and choke the life out of Pastor Mark with both of these hands right on top of Charlie's casket. That's how offended I was. Yeah, so I was boiling.
Seems like all of those things have brought a sense of tension and difficulty.
It took everything in me not to get up and embarrass the hell out of that guy. And I was shaken. I just couldn't believe he was going there.
Every choice we make, there's a positive result and negative consequence. And I had to measure in this the sense of what positives could come out of that, what would be the negatives. Even the worst of persons has a right to at least have a burial. There may be a person or two here today who would want to take a moment to share a word of your interaction with Charlie that we know would bring an encouragement to the family. So I just want to give you a moment to see if anyone would like to do that.
When Grey Wolf got up to speak, I held my breath. I have nothing but the utmost respect for that man.
I'd like to focus on some things that Charlie brought my attention to and the world's attention to. We can all do it together right now by breathing in and breathing out. We do it all the time. Trees sustains the air that we breathe moment to moment. And then the animals that tend the garden, that support us all, and the entire web of life, day to day. And that's what this man stood for.
Right on, brother.
Amen.
Amen.
When Grey Wolf finished, I kind of looked over my shoulder this way, expecting that one of those other people left was going to get up. And then no, instead, I not only see no one moving, but then I see Pastor Mark basically starting to make his strides toward the front, like, okay, wrap it up. Half my body was trying to still sit down, and the other half was being pulled to the thing.
I was asked to get up and speak, but I just couldn't. When Billy stood up and said, I'll speak, it was kind of relief.
If anybody can walk away from here in true honor today, It's the spirit of truth that comes with that consciousness. And I just ask you, please, if you only ever remember one thing from me, it's not about me, but please, we've got to get the truth out there.
I'm from Ohio, and we always take care of our own. I think of it this way, you know, if he did his time, and when he passed away, it was time for the family to take over. He had a life sentence. He didn't have a soul sentence. His physical body had a life sentence to be locked up, and he served his time. You know, when he died, that was it. Time served. You know, it was time for me to step up.
What really led to the sacrifice that this person made on account of the actions of other people, and a society that would let a human being be turned into the devil incarnate. Because this is not the devil, and it never was.
Charles Manson was arrested and convicted of 9 brutal murders. I don't like to romanticize serial killers. I've seen the destruction they do to the family members. Ultimately, the murder is harder on the family members of the victim. Even in Sharon Tate's case, she only died once. Family members who survive a murder of their loved ones die that death every single day. They have to live it over in the courtroom. They have to live it in their daily lives. So I've seen what serial killers do to families and, of course, to their victims. We should not praise them. We should not glorify them. We should shun them.
My grandfather caused my family a lot of pain, but everybody needs to be taken care of when they die.
Manson's grandson, I think he sincerely wanted the body and to dispose of it his own way.
I felt like he was being drawn off the path that he knew he wanted. There's a lot of suppressed feelings.
Charles Manson is part of my journey. I can't change how he's going to be remembered. You know, he's a historical figure that'll always go down in history. It came down to me protecting my family. We always take care of our own.
All of these people who have since shown up after Charlie's death, they were using Jason.
This is our moment. It isn't just my moment.
Here, brother.
Those of you who wish, you can actually just push in. It will roll in very easy, so don't be surprised. Jason, come on over here. Go ahead and press that right here until the door's closed.
Jason didn't have any other male figure in his life.
Grandfather wasn't this crazed killer.
they got into his head.
He was a damn good man.
It isn't just my moment. This is our moment.
It's going to be probably 3.5 hours now. So you're welcome to stay. Anything you want to do, if you want to stay right here, or just, I know you've got some other things going on here, so I'm going to leave you guys to do what you want.
Thank you, Les.
As this procedure was going, my mother, my father, Charles Manson Jr., crossed my mind. When we pushed him into the fire as a group, it was like a pressure release valve that just lifted a lot of weight off my shoulders. For years, anytime you look up Charles Manson, you see the murders. We can put a lot of stuff behind us now. It was an opportunity for me to put some things to rest and close some doors and open some new doors. Mom, we came down a long road.
Has he been cremated?
He's in the cremation center right now. He went in at 1 o'clock.
I was so glad it was just like a private thing. I told my son, I said, Jason, just keep a low profile and it's nobody's business.
What are you doing with the vet?
We're going to scatter them tonight, somewhere here outside of town.
Yeah, we got the location figured out. It'll be at a stream in the woods.
What it would have taken to put him in the ground, an unmarked grave, it would have been just complete chaos, and it probably would have been defaced, and it would have just been, I'm sure, a complete spectacle. So this was the best decision that we felt we could have made.
If we're brought to life from the ground, that's just where I put him back.
They'll never find him up here.
Only in spirit.
Yeah, right.
This is so the best ever. It couldn't have been a place.
I know we didn't want the location of the ashes being distributed because I didn't want it to become a tourist attraction. I didn't want people to come in and start to pull up dirt and sell them and say they're ashes. You know, it was a secret place that I hope it isn't ever revealed. We all promised to keep that secret and keep it amongst ourselves, and that's what we want to do. So the ashes are in here. We all can walk back, and while I'm walking, I'm gonna spread some ashes around the rock lines and the tree lines and stuff, and of course it's all gonna run down into the river one day from the water. I definitely didn't want to open the ashes up to be an opportunity for someone to steal them or do whatever they wanted to with them, but I felt in my heart that other people would love to spread my grandfather's ashes.
It had gotten really cold after the sun went down, so I had gone back to the vehicle as everybody else was kind of doing their thing, making their way back. And every person proceeds to come out with ashes on their face. They literally spread ashes on their faces. I was just like, this is just insanity. To me, I thought, this is a moment that people know to act right, but obviously after seeing that, it like just appalls me that people think this is okay. We just have completely veered off of what you're trying to do. With Jason caring about people as much as he does, you know, he wanted to try and keep everybody in the loop and keep everybody happy and keep all of this going and juggle, juggle, juggle. You know, they got into his thoughts.
This ring was cremated with my grandfather and came back out. This ring went through the fire with him. This ring was on his chest. I feel a little closer to my grandfather when I wear it. He's my grandfather. That's why I want to feel closer to him. He's got a spiritual side to him that not too many people understand, but I do. I'm his grandson. I can't look at him as just being evil, because there's good in everybody.
I just think that, you know, you have a choice.